Welcome everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Free Training Friday. I am Brittany and I'll be taking you through the training today with my partner in crime, Margaret, who will be fielding questions and answering any questions in the chat and in the Q&A section or in the question section. Let's get started. So demystifying queries. Queries are often confusing to folks. And so we wanted to kind of take a look at them and talk about maybe some of the gotchas, some of the ways to think about them so that they make a little more sense. And so that when we are creating those queries that we're thinking about them with a logic that that makes sense, and so we can get kind of tangled up. I know I do sometimes with the queries. So I thought this would be a valuable conversation. So a couple of things that we will be touching on today. First of all, what are queries and why are they so awesome? And then secondly, taking a look at some common useful customer queries. We're going to be focusing specifically on customer queries today in relation to customer engagement or re-engagement as far as marketing as well. We'll be doing some future Free Training Fridays, delving into the other types of queries as well, but today we are going to be focusing on customer queries. So first of all, queries, what are they and what makes them so incredibly powerful within Commerce7? Well, what they are, if you think of Commerce7 as a database or collection of databases, but simplistically, it's a database. And then the queries are taking a look at the various tables within that database. So if you are asking a query of, oh, I want to see, club members who have a lifetime value of say over $1,000, you will be querying two different tables, the club member table as well as the orders table. So there are lots of different tables, and queries are a way that they kind of shake hands, and then you're able to get some results out of it that then you can work with. Within Commerce7, you can certainly just take a look. You can download the query information and look at it in spreadsheet form. But what's super exciting is that you can also tag the results. And as you likely know, tags are a huge part of Commerce7, and what makes Commerce7, one of the huge things that makes Commerce7 incredible, which is that you can then market with campaigns, cart carrots, coupons and promotions, now loyalty tiers, personalization blocks, all kinds of things that you can do with these tagged segments of people. So again, very powerful. I know I keep using that word, but it's applicable. So without further ado, let's go take a look at some common useful customer queries, how to build them, and then also some maybe best practices and some gotchas to take a look at. So heading over into Commerce7, I'm in my sandbox here, and we're in the dashboard, and then we're going to go to marketing, and we are going to queries. I'm going to move Margaret's and my beautiful heads here so I can see my my button. So first of all, I want to talk about this main menu up here. You can build queries based on different tables, if you will, or different sections. So we have customer queries, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. Those are customer-centric queries. Order queries, club membership, reservation, club subscription shipment, say that 5 times fast, club member shipment. So based on whatever your task is at hand, what kind of information you're trying to get, think about that first, and then you can kind of go in the general direction of where you'll be finding that information. Most of the time, you will generally be either in customer queries or order queries. But if you are a club manager, let's see, a tasting room manager, that sort of thing, you may be living in some of these other queries to get other information. So we're going to do customer query. And the first one we're going to look at is birthday. And if you're part of Free Training Friday last week, where I did cart carrots, we did birthdays as well. So it's going to be a little bit of review, but with a couple of a little twist of how we're using the information. So I'm going to add customer query. We're going to call this June birthdays. And here we have, okay, it's our customer found in the following customer conditions. Now, a word about this operator as well. When you're thinking about queries, think about where what you're asking for lives. So in this case, it lives in the customer. The birth date lives at the customer level or at the customer profile. But for instance, if I was going to be looking at, okay, I want to know how many customers purchased a particular SKU, well, then this operator would then switch to order, because now you're looking at, oh, wait, I want to now look at the order information to get this information. But in this case, it's birthday. So I'm choosing customer here. Down here, we choose our conditions. In this case, you can do birth date and a specific date, or you can do birth month. I'm going to do birth month for our purposes here, is equal to, and we're going to do June. Once you're finished with your conditions here, and you can have multiple, as we'll talk about, you click on Add Customer Query. Right here, we're in the configure stage. Well, now we want to execute it. So you click over here onto Execute, step 2, and then we click on Execute Query. And then you can decide whether to email a copy of the results to yourself, in which case you'll receive a link so that you can download a spreadsheet. You can also decide to include the default address for the customer. This would be, for instance, if you wanted to send the information to your mail house, if you were sending out like a piece of actual mail, that sort of thing. But in this case, I'm going to keep these unchecked, going to execute the query. And then I'm going to refresh my screen. And results, I have one person because I'm in my small sandbox here, but we do have one person here. You likely have many, many more than that. So you'll have a whole list of folks that have June birthdays. Now you can decide to tag them. You can either update a tag, update the tag from existing tags, which you would see here. You'd see a list of all of your existing customer tags that you could choose from. Or you can create it on the fly, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a tag from this list, and we're going to call it June birthdays. Create tag from query. It tells me here that it has successfully created a tag for the people in my query. So when if I go to any of their customer records, you would see that tag there now. And now what am I going to do with it? Well, one thing I'm thinking, okay, June birthdays, I want to offer them a special coupon just for them, and then send a campaign to those people, letting them know, hey, we know it's your birthday. Why don't you come on in and get 10% off of our current release or whatever it might be. So the first thing you would do is in the store, we would go to coupon. Now I've already created it. We have the 10% off birthday coupon. Click into there, birthday coupon, et cetera, product discount. And then down here, customers, specific tags. I'm now going to choose the one I just created, June birthdays, percent off, 10%, action message if you need one, and we're going to save that coupon. Great, so now we have a coupon. But these people don't know they have a coupon, so now you have to create a campaign. So let's go back to the dashboard, go back to marketing, campaigns, and I already created one. We call it the June birthday campaign. And again, here, this is where you define, okay, who is this campaign going to? Well, it's going to these people that we just queried, our June birthdays. And then, down here, it's your birthday, celebrate, et cetera, and then once you send this, they will have, they'll be able to, do whatever it is here that you've asked them to do. So that's the first one. Now, the other thing that I thought of this morning, and Margaret, you'll be so proud of me. I thought this was really cool. So we now have loyalty tiers, a whole loyalty program. If you don't know about it, I encourage you to go out to the documentation to learn all about it. There's several videos there. And I was thinking of a cool way to do birthdays with them as well. So what I did, or what my idea is that, okay, so you pull the query of those June birthdays, and then you go to the list of people, pardon me. And so I'm going to go into the CRM, the page. So let's say this person is one of my June birthdays. I'm going to go into loyalty here, excuse me, and I'm going to adjust loyalty points. And I'm going to give this person 100 points because it's their birthday. 100 points, birthday. This is just an internal note here. Save loyalty points. So now we see we've given this person 100 points because it's their birthday. And again, they don't know that we've done this. So I would again go back into marketing and into campaigns. And here I've created an It's Your Birthday Points campaign where I let this person know, hey, happy birthday from all of us. We love you. Get 100 loyalty points on us. And I went out to Google, found a cute little picture. And so now they can go on and use their points when they log in. And hopefully, they'll be encouraged to do so because they have some extra points to play with. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so that was the first one that I wanted to talk about, the birthday. Let's now talk about customers who purchase specific SKUs. So I'm going to go back to queries. We are going to create a query. We're going to talk about rosé. I want people who have purchased rosé because I now have a bundle that I've created with 3 bottles, 3 different wines, but it includes the rosé. So I want to kind of upsell my 3-pack here to my rosé purchasers. So again, I'm in customer query. Now, customer, yes, found in. Now, in this case, it is SKUs. It is order centric where I'm wanting to find this information. So I am choosing order here. Now, when you choose order, it does change your condition options down here, as you'll see. One of them is now SKU purchased. So I'm going to click on SKU purchased is equal to. You can also do is not equal to. And I'm going to enter my rosé. I also want folks who have purchased this year. So I want recent purchasers, and the fact that I want the recent purchasers that are also may or may not be, who are also rosé purchasers. So I'm going to add another condition, and we're going to choose order date. And here we have an operator of is greater than or is less than. I'm going to say is greater than, and I'm going to go back to January 1st. So what this is saying is I want people who purchased rosé and who have an order date, who have purchased this year, basically, order date greater than January 1st. So I'm going to add customer query. I'm in configure now. I want to now execute. Execute my query. Execute, close, and then refresh. Okay, I have 18 people who fall into these parameters. I now want to create a tag for these folks. We're going to just call it rosé. Create tag from query. They've now been tagged. So now I want to create a cart carrot that upsells this bundle for these rosé, these people who I know like rosé. So if they like rosé, maybe they'll like the bundle that includes the rosé. So I'm going to go to cart carrots. And again, I've already created it, so I'm not wasting all of your time. So I'm going to head into the rosé bundles. So here's my rosé bundles. I'm going to make this the side cart top. So it's going to slide out and we're going to see it at the top there when people add to their cart. This is going to be a product upsell. And this is my 3-bottle sampler. I do have a choice here in a drop down of what I'd want, but I want to use the 3-bottle sampler and then a little, you know, hey, how about a bundle? That includes our best sellers. Now down here where the magic is, the conditions, tag is equal to, and there's my tag that I just created, rosé. Save carrot. Cool. So let's go take a look at it. I happen to be someone who purchased rosé. I'm going to add to my cart. And voila, there it is. It is there. And now I can add it if I want to and upsell. So there's that one. We're now going to go back into queries. What are we doing next here? We are going to, okay, so this is a customer who has purchased a certain amount, has been a good customer in the past, has a certain lifetime value, but has stopped recently. And you're like, hey, I want to reach back out to this person because they were great in the past. Maybe they just forgotten about us or life got in the way. I want to reach back out and give them some incentive, let them know we're still here. Kind of a welcome back. So we're again in queries and we're going to add. And we're going to call this, let's see. Well, we're just going to call it welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so customer found in customer conditions, and we're going to choose lifetime value is greater than, it defaults here to 1,000. I like that. $1,000 is great. Oh, that's quite a bit of money spent with my little tiny winery. And then we're also going to add another condition here. And this condition is going to be last order date. And now, if I were actually doing this, I would probably do last order date of probably the beginning of this year. If they haven't purchased in 6 months, but they already obviously spent a considerable amount with me in the past, that's probably a good, maybe middle of last year. It depends on what I'm thinking. So I would normally do that. But because this is my very recently created account here, my test account, just pretend that's what I'm going to do. What I actually have to do is make it much more recent. So we're just going to call it that, June 15th. Pretend that this says, December 31st of last year. We're going to add a customer query. We are going to execute, close, and refresh. Okay, cool. I have 4 people that fall into this category. I'm going to tag them. I'll just tag them, welcome back. Create the tag. And now what can I do with these? Well, I'm thinking probably a campaign again. Campaign would be great. You could do a campaign. You could do, oh gosh, a personalization block so that when they log in, they'll see welcome back. But let's go back to campaigns. And I have a welcome back campaign here. And we're going to choose our welcome back tagged segment of our 4 people. And again, hey, welcome back. Enjoy 10% off your entire order. And when they log in, they'll be able to take advantage of that. And then the final one that I'm going to talk about is high lifetime value non-club members. High lifetime value non-club members, so that you can reach out to these high LTV folks to entice them into the club. So going back to queries, and we're going to head into here, high LTV non-club member. So customer, and we're in customer conditions here. We're going to choose our lifetime value. Again, $1,000 is great. And we are going to look at club member status is equal to has never been a member. Let's add our customer query. Execute. And close. And refresh. Let's see how many people we have in this bucket. 2 people. So again, you can tag these folks, and these would be, you know, high LTV, non-club, create tag from query, and that is done. So again, you could, any number of things. You could create the campaign that is like, oh, it would actually be pretty cool. Creating a special coupon where they would actually have club membership benefits for a period of time. Like, hey, you know, you are such a great fan of our brand that we want to reward you with 1 month club member benefit stuff. Here's all the stuff you get. So, you know, put them into kind of this special status for a month. And then hopefully, because they're such fans and they're, you know, a part of your community, they will, at the end of that month, then be enticed to actually become a part of the club, because my goodness, look at all the cool things that you get. So you could do that. You could do, you know, and a campaign, obviously, to reach out to them and let them know what's up. So again, any number of things that you can do within Commerce7 to kind of engage these people and get them excited about joining the club and becoming even more a part of your brand. So those are the kind of common ones that I wanted to highlight today. Obviously, there are endless conditions that you can put on these, depending on what it is. You can get very, very creative with your conditions, as well as with what you can do with those tagged segments. But those are a few of the ones that we see quite often. One thing I'd like to highlight as well is that if you go into support and you go into documentation and we choose queries, oops, remember how to spell queries. There is the, which one am I looking for? Let's actually go ahead and look. Lots of queries, articles out here. Common customer queries to create. So when you click in there, there are quite a few more that you can take advantage of here as well. We'll be adding more to these. And in fact, in the future, on the roadmap, not next week, not next month, but in the future on the roadmap for the dev team and the product team is to create some of these common queries, so that all you have to do is kind of, oh, that's the one that, you know, you'll be able to choose from a list, which will be really cool in the future. So a few things I want to talk about as far as gotchas or best practices or ways to think about things that might help you when you're doing the queries. And the first one is if you are creating an order query and you want to be taking advantage of all of these marketing features, like, you know, the campaigns, etc. All of those things actually use customer tags. In Commerce7, there are customer tags and there are order tags. All of these marketing features use customer tags. So you may be wondering, well, shoot, if I'm creating an order query, how do I create that customer tag? So let's do that. It's an important one to know. So dashboard marketing queries. So we're going to head over into the order queries now. And this is one that I have created here. Actually, we're going to recreate this one because it will be important to do so. So let's delete that guy. So let's create an order query. And this one is going to be, I'm going to be marketing to all of my Nevada people because I'm going to be doing a tasting in Nevada next month and I want to communicate with these folks. So I want people who've purchased in Nevada this year so that I can reach out and say, hey, I'm going to be there. You should come over. So let's call this Nevada 2022. And we're going to, is found in order conditions. We are going, oh, and actually, you know what? We are going, well, just thinking on the fly here. Let's see here. Yeah, let's do our ship to state is equal to, let's choose Nevada. All right, add another condition. Order date is greater than, and again, we're going to go back to January 1st. So Nevada orders greater than January 1st of this year. Add order query, execute query, close. Okay, we have 46 orders. Now we're in order queries now. So these are specific orders. There may only be, 20 customers associated with these 46 orders, but this is order count. So what we're going to do first is we are going to put an order tag on these orders. So create tag from list. We're going to call it Nevada orders. Oops, I could spell here. Orders. Create tag from query. Okay, so all these orders now have a tag of Nevada. Now we want to create customer tags from this query so that we can then send a campaign to our Nevada people. So let's go back over into queries. We are going to go into customer queries now. We're going to create a query. We are going to do found in order conditions because these are order tags. Remember, I know this is confusing sometimes, but these are order tags that we're going to be pulling from. Calling this Nevada. Nevada customers. And so now we are going to choose tag because we're, again, order tags, right? Equal to Nevada orders. Add customer query, execute, execute, execute. Refresh our screen. 8 or so, wow, these have been very, very prolific buyers. So there were 46 orders, but only 8 people comprise those 46. But now what's cool is we can now, obviously we go through the process of tagging these people, and now you can market to these 8 people using that customer tag. I know that that's a little bit squirrely there, understanding how those two things kind of relate, but hopefully that helps a little bit.
Britt, do you mind just going back to the conditions really quick, just so I can address one question here? So Matt's
Yeah,
asking, will this be sent to only ship customers in Nevada or both ship and pickup? So I just wanted to look at the conditions you had created here.
you got it. Let's edit that set of conditions.
Awesome. So the initial tag that you created, could you go back to that query just so I can take a look at that as well?
Yep. Wow. Configure.
Awesome. Yeah. So the ship to state. So it would be just the orders that were shipped over to Nevada for this one. Is there a condition where you could add the pickup as well? Let's take a look. No. Okay. So yeah. So it would just be the ship to state there, Matt, for this specific query example. Sorry, Brittany, for interrupting.
Oh, please. No, that's why we're all here. Okay. Let's see here. The other couple of things I just wanted to touch on. Let's see, we talked about that. Oh, okay. If you are looking for customers who have purchased particular SKUs, let's talk about that a little bit as far as if there are multiple SKUs and how to find that in the most effective way, depending on what your task is. So we're back in queries and we are back to adding an order query, or excuse me. Oh, this is, well, you could do it in either, actually, either orders or customers in this case, but I'm gonna actually go back to customers only because that's kind of where we've been working. So add customer query. Okay, so we're just gonna call this SKUs. So if you're looking for specific SKUs, first of all, you want this particular condition to say order because we're looking at orders now, and we want specific SKUs. So SKU purchased is equal to the Chardonnay. If I want people who have purchased the Chardonnay or the rosé, then I will use or. And we would say, okay, SKU purchased is the rosé. If I want to know who purchased the rosé, the Chardonnay, or my cab, then again, you click or up here and it adds another or statement down here. So SKU purchased equal to, and then we would put our Cabernet in there. So what these results will give you is our folks who have purchased, you know, it could be just one order of, one order of rosé, or it could be, 12 bottles of this or whatever, but they could be on different orders. It's going to pull in anybody who purchased any one of these bottles on any number of orders. Now, if instead you want to know people who have purchased the Chard and the rosé and the cab, then you would use the and instead of the or. So to do that, whoops, this is keep getting in the way here. Here we are. You would instead just simply add another condition. Add another condition, SKU purchased. We're going to do the rosé and then add another condition, SKU purchased, and we're going to choose the cab. So what this is saying is I want a list of people who have purchased the Chardonnay, rosé, and cab all on the same order. This represents one order here. So just so you know, there are those two different, because sometimes folks think that if they do it this way that they're, oh, it's or. No, this is and. So just make sure that you're paying attention to that. And then my final thing is that, again, you can get kind of tangled when you're doing a complex query with lots of stuff. So the main thing is you want to really think about, before you even begin the querying process, think about what it is that you're needing to do. And then the one thing that you want to kind of avoid, if you can, is getting a bunch of negatives. And in that, I mean, for instance, let's see here, if we go, let me get rid of all these guys. If we were to say, okay, customer not found in, for instance, club membership. And then you start saying, well, or no, let me do a better one here. Sorry. Let me go back over here. I'm going to go over to order queries. Apologies, guys. I see I'm getting myself all already all tangled up. So we're going to go to add order query. Okay. So if we do like not found in following order conditions, and then we say something like ship state is not equal to whatever it is. If we get into these double negatives, it gets harder to kind of untangle it. So whenever possible, you want to avoid that. You want it, if this is a negative, try to make these positives. If this is a positive, try to make these negatives. It's not that it won't work. Sure, it'll work, but it'll kind of keep your brain a little bit clearer sometimes when it's a more complex one. That's all. So just letting you know kind of that best practice if it's possible. That is about all I have. Margaret, is there anything that you want to highlight that wasn't mentioned?
No, I think you did a really great job explaining this. Of course, it's a super complex tool, so there's unlimited potential of what you can do with it. But we're happy to kind of consult with you guys too through the support channel. If you have if you're stuck at all, we're happy to work with you. But as Brittany mentioned, start with the easier stuff. Look for maybe one particular order using the conditions that you want to bring up, and then slowly build on that as you slowly understand what those conditions are pulling through. And then that'll be probably your best way to kind of wrap your mind around these tools and how powerful they really are.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. I mean,
absolutely.
They're really, really something.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
We did have a few questions in the chat here. So the one that I specifically wanted to address. So John asked about updating club conditions dynamically. So basically, when you run a query, it's similar to a manual tag in that you're tagging those customers once, and then that tag stays on those customers. So they're not dynamically updating with the customer. So if they were to cancel their club membership or to join a club after you were using the alternative conditions in your queries, that would stay on the customer profile. So if you want to run these regularly to ensure the proper customers are tagged with that information, you can go ahead and do that. Or I would say a better alternative, if you're thinking it's something that's going to be changing quite frequently, is to use our dynamic tags, which you can find in the settings. And we've actually recently added club conditions in the dynamic tag section. So you can have club tags that are dynamically updating depending on if they're canceled or if they're active members. And that's probably your best way to go about doing that. And you can actually set based on conditions here as well. So that's another super powerful tool that you can use for your club members or for things that you think might be changing on a more frequent basis. So you don't have to be constantly running these queries to be properly tagging those customers. So I would definitely take a look at those dynamic tags if you're thinking about those types of data sets.
For sure.
Yeah, but everything else in here we've addressed already. So there's nothing else in the Q&A, but
cool.
And a few things were more individually focused, so we'll address those in the support team afterwards. But I'm waiting on any other questions, or if anyone else has anything, please feel free to send them through. We're happy to address any questions about Commerce7 or queries in particular.
Yeah, a couple minutes here.
Okay. So Jessica's asking, when entering a date range as a piece of criteria for a query, the options are greater than or less than. However, I found that sometimes they behave as greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. However, it doesn't seem to be consistent. Is this a bug or intentional? So typically I would say this is something that I would have to run by the product team. Andrea, I'm not sure if you are aware of that answer. If you want to send me a message, I can reiterate that to Jessica. We have someone on the product team who's on the call right now, so I'm just seeing if she knows off the top of her head. If not, Jessica will be happy to follow up with you on that. Awesome. So we'll test that out, Jessica, and we'll let you know. I just heard from Andrea on that, so I'll let you know as soon as I can. And then her next question here is, any plans to add more searchable forms to all query types? For example, In an order query, only order and customer parameters can be searched, but in a customer query, customer, order, club membership, and reservation can be searched. Is there a reason that not all options are offered in each query type? Yeah, so I'm sure there is a technical reason behind why it's designed in this way. We are constantly assessing this to see if we can add more information here. I know last week we discussed adding club shipment conditions into the order query searching. So I think that this is possible and it's something that we're definitely considering internally, but I will definitely pass along this feedback to the product team, Jessica, on that as well. Awesome. So Jessica asked again here. Sorry, I thought I mentioned this in the chat, but I'm happy to go over this again. So she said, I found that when updating a tag from a query, it removes everyone who was previously tagged with that tag. Is there a reason for this? Is it possible to add, to change this or add an option, add to tag instead of replace all? So Jessica, I mentioned, I probably sent it to the wrong person in the chat here, but what I said is that basically what will happen is it will retag based on the existing set of conditions in that query. So if customers don't fit those conditions anymore, they're not going to be tagged. So it wouldn't, technically it wouldn't operate that way from my understanding, but I'm happy to review a specific case with you further if you found otherwise. Please just send us an email so we can kind of dive in that a little bit further for you so that we can go over that together. Don't be sorry about the questions. We're happy to take them. No apologies needed there. Awesome. And I do have a couple other questions coming in the chat here. Awesome. So Lindsay's saying she would like to hear about the date range as well. So I'm just going to make a note here. Awesome. So yeah, so Andrew is also saying you could also make a customer tag and then use that in your order query customer conditions. So that's another way to go about doing that. I'm just going to make a note for Jessica and for Lindsay so that we can follow up with you guys on the greater than equal to situation for queries. Awesome. Okay, I'm just taking a look here at the other questions. Any possibility of creating a remove from tag feature in queries? Would be super powerful to have this in bulk actions, major time saver. Remove from tag feature. I'm not sure what you mean by that. So where would you like to see that in queries, Jessica? If you don't mind, could you just add a little bit more information there? If everyone in a query result could be removed from an existing tag all at once. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, that's definitely a feature that we can present along to the product team there. I'll make a note of that as well. Awesome, yeah, thank you for that insight. And yeah, I could see how going through each individual person and removing that would be tedious for you. So we'll definitely take a look at that. Awesome. So I don't see any other questions here in the Q&A. I think I've seen here all of them. I'm just double checking so I don't miss anybody's questions here. Okay, awesome. Yeah, it looks like we've addressed everything. Awesome,
Okay,
so thank
cool.
you all.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being here. If you have any questions, certainly send them over to support and we can help tease through any, any maybe complex queries that you're trying to accomplish, and we can help you kind of work on that.
Awesome.
So thanks. Have a good Friday.
Wonderful.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yeah, have a wonderful weekend, everyone.